Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Design Thinking for Dummies by Christian Muller-Roterberg, narrated by Shaun Grindell. Publisher's Note. In this audio edition you will hear references to illustrations, figures and tables present in the print and ebook formats of this book. Limit of liability, disclaimer of warranty. The publisher and the author make no representations or warranties with respect to the accuracy or completeness of the contents of this work, and specifically disclaim all warranties, including, without limitation, warranties of fitness for a particular purpose. No warranty may be created or extended by sales or promotional materials. The advice and strategies contained herein may not be suitable for every situation. This work is sold with the understanding that the publisher is not engaged in rendering legal, accounting, or other professional services. If professional assistance is required, the services of a competent professional person should be sought. Neither the publisher nor the author shall be liable for damages arising herefrom. The fact that an organization or website is referred to in this work as a citation and/or a potential source of further information does not mean that the author or the publisher endorses the information the organization or website may provide, or recommendations it may make. Further, readers should be aware that internet websites listed in this work may have changed or disappeared between when this work was written and when it is read. Introduction. Ready for an adventure? That's where design thinking will take you. You'll learn a lot, cope with a lot of uncertainties, and discover many new things. Design thinking offers you a method to develop innovative products, services, business models, and concepts. With design thinking, you can use the obstacles in your path to create something new. Learn to think outside the box, and still move straight to your goal. Design thinking lets you answer questions that your customers never thought they would have, and later your customers will say, "This is exactly the solution I was always waiting for." Developing innovative ideas always takes some effort. Compared to traditional product development processes, this effort is manageable. Asking yourself whether you can afford design thinking is the wrong way to start. Ask yourself instead whether you can afford to skip design thinking. Yes, design thinking costs money, but not investing in design thinking costs you more in the long run. About this book. The book you're holding in your hands is a guide for practitioners with a 360-degree view of the innovative approach known as design thinking. It takes a look at the entire process from beginning to end. You start with the customer's problem and end with a solution for the customer. Examines all significant success factors for design thinking, the 5 Ps: practices, people, principles, processes, places. Follows different perspectives on design thinking. You learn which steps you must take in order to succeed with design thinking from these perspectives: the company, the project, the employee, the customer. This book answers your questions about what design thinking is, which conditions must be created at your company in order for it to succeed, how you can plan a project, and how to implement it successfully. This book can be used in myriad ways, and is a Swiss Army knife in paper form. It is a step-by-step manual for using design thinking to identify a problem and come up with a solution. A guidebook with practical suggestions for the implementation of a design thinking strategy. A reference book divided into parts, chapters, and sections so that you can quickly find the content you're looking for when you need it. This book, which is designed so that you can swiftly get a grasp on everything, features many examples, instructions, checklists, illustrations, and tables. It's also structured systematically according to the design thinking process. Conventions used in this book. This book doesn't have many rules. The entire book is structured so that you can quickly find everything you need and get a grasp on the contents. The detailed table of contents helps you jump right to the information you need, and each chapter begins with a brief and succinct description of the chapter's main topics. Whenever topics overlap or other chapters are mentioned, cross-references help you conveniently jump back and forth between the chapters. Foolish assumptions. This book is not only for designers. Design thinking is too important for you to let only designers develop attractive products. Whether you work at a company, an educational institution, a research institute, a public agency, or a non-profit organization, you can benefit from the people-based approach that is at the heart of design thinking. Whether you have an education in the technical, economic, or social field, this creative approach gives you new stimuli and ideas. On an individual level, I make the following assumptions about you. You're working in a department at a company and want to see the bigger picture. You want to apply design thinking at your organization and need to know how to implement it. Your company is already working with some design thinking methods. You want to enhance your previous work with new methods, tips, and tricks for its implementation, and you want a set of comprehensive instructions. You don't need any specific skills for this book. You only have to be curious. What you don't have to read. It's worth your time to read the entire book. You can find important tips everywhere in it. Even if you can use only a few of its suggestions, the time and money you invest will be worth it. I guarantee that you'll be able to use more than just a few of the tips, regardless of whether you're a novice or an expert. Some of the text in this book appears in a grey box, in order to highlight background information. You don't absolutely need this info, but it's always helpful. How this book is organized. To make things easier for you, I've arranged this book into 4 distinct parts, as described in this section. Part 1. Getting started with design thinking. This section gives you an overview of the principles and methods of design thinking. You'll find out how to create the necessary conditions for design thinking in order for it to succeed at your company, how to plan a project, and how to organize teamwork. Part 2. The problem phases. The first phase of the design thinking process is all about giving you an in-depth understanding of what your target users need. Observations and interviews give you a better grasp of your customer's perspective. At the conclusion of the problem phase, you summarize your task in the form of a defined problem. Part 3. The solution phases. Only when you reach the solution phase do you develop new ideas. After implementing creative principles and techniques, you evaluate your ideas and make a selection. Customers can use prototypes to tangibly test your selected ideas, and you can benefit from their feedback. Part 4. The part of tens. No For Dummies book exists without the part of tens. In this part you learn about 10 or so success factors for interviews and 10 or so success factors for implementing design thinking projects. Icons used in this book. Now and then you'll find symbols in the margins of this book. Their purpose is to make you aware of important information. Tip. This icon points to tips and tricks that should be helpful when you apply and implement an idea. They show you how you can improve your project. Example. This icon highlights illustrative examples from practical experience. They should offer inspiration for your project. Warning. This icon makes you aware of potential stumbling blocks and shows you how to not do something. If you avoid errors that others have made before you, you'll save time, money, and effort. Beyond the book. In addition to what you're reading right now, this publication comes with a free Access Anywhere cheat sheet that offers a number of tips, techniques, and resources related to data science. To view this cheat sheet, visit dummies.com and type Design Thinking for Dummies cheat sheet in the search box. Where to go from here? You can start immediately by choosing one of these 2 strategies. Read the book straight through from cover to cover. Find individual chapters that you want to read first. Each chapter covers an entire subject area so that you can find and understand it independently of the other chapters. If you have no experience with design thinking yet, I recommend starting with Chapter 1, which offers a crash course in design thinking principles. My advice to you. Read the way design thinkers would do it. Experiment with a reading strategy that works best for you. Jump to different sections while you read the book, if that makes sense to you. If necessary, reread a chapter multiple times. The idea here is for you to come up with your own way to read this book effectively. Part 1. Getting started with design thinking. In this part, get to know design thinking with its advantages and principles. Examine the individual steps in the design thinking process. Create the foundation for success and prepare your organization for the project. Define the goals, plan workflows and resources for the project work. Assemble a powerful team, arrange team-appropriate rooms, and manage team responsibilities, as well as team communication. Chapter 1. Everything you need to know about design thinking. In this chapter, getting to know the design thinking approach, comprehending the method, understanding the principles, implementing design thinking quickly. Do you want to invent something, design something, or implement something new? Design thinking offers you a method to develop innovative products, services, methods, business models, and concepts. This chapter gives you an overview of the potential, the basics, and the principles of this approach to innovation. You'll learn how to proceed with the design thinking and what you must consider when carrying out the individual steps. You'll form a team and manage the collaboration, organize the project work by structuring a logical order for the tasks, assign resources, and respond flexibly to changes. You'll even learn about the importance of your work environment, from office floor plans to furnishings, when it comes to supporting the creativity of your team members. This is design thinking. Design thinking is a human-based approach to innovation that aims to establish creative ideas and effective business models by focusing on the needs of people. The basic idea behind design thinking is that you apply the approaches and methods of designers to the development of innovations. This is what the word design stands for, while also engaging in a systematic, fact-based analysis of the feasibility and economic viability of these innovations, just like what a researcher does. This is what the thinking part of the term stands for. Designers start with their customers' problems or wishes and consider them from the perspective of their target users. With this knowledge, designers develop the first user-oriented ideas, visualize their creative solutions at an early stage, and then design prototypes. They quickly request their customers' feedback and change the concept on this basis. Step by step, the designers approach the best solution for their target users. The approach and individual methods of the design are supplemented by a mindset that purposefully analyzes the feasibility and economic viability of the product during development. Like a researcher, you set verifiable goals for each step, make assumptions, and test these assumptions with the help of observations and surveys regarding their validity. More than just design. The shaping and design of material products is just one application area. You can use this approach for all areas in life and business. Maybe you want to enhance your customer service, introduce new ways of executing your business processes, or change the corporate culture. Then you're dealing with many layered issues. When you have no simple solutions, design thinking helps you find an innovative solution. More than just a workshop. Design thinking is a process consisting of various steps. Individual steps you complete multiple times. During the process, you rely on group work in the form of workshops, as well as individual work. Tip: provide variety. Complete individual work after a workshop phase. This increases motivation, and you can more easily tap into your team members' different kinds of potential. When it comes to individual work, you can utilize the expertise of team members who don't feel comfortable with group work. You complete various forms of group work and supplement them with results from the individual work. The team members work individually to conduct interviews with potential customers, and then everyone presents their results in a workshop. The group evaluates the results together. This leads to the creation of new assumptions about your target users or potential solutions, which the individual team members can test in surveys. More than just brainstorming. Brainstorming for the creative idea is just one phase in the design thinking process. The idea here is to fully comprehend the problem and understand your target users. Analyze the starting situation and make assumptions that you investigate with observations and surveys with potential customers. Creative phases with a lot of design freedom alternate with phases in which you summarize your results and focus on the priorities. More than just methods. Different methods can help you during the individual phases of the design thinking process. You can describe your target users with the persona method, where you come up with a profile of your target audience, made up of the most important characteristics, modes of behavior, problems, and preferences of that audience. With the customer journey method, you can analyze the individual steps that the customer experiences while using a product. However, you must apply creative techniques that have assisted you when searching for a new idea, as well as the various methods you may have made use of during the creation of the prototype. You can test your assumptions and ideas by applying methods from experimental research. The right application of the right methods is crucial for the success of the project. The methods are just one factor. In design thinking, you have to keep the 5 Ps in mind. Practices. You apply proven methods from various disciplines, such as design, market research, ethnology, psychology, engineering sciences, and strategic management. People. You assemble a team that contributes different competencies and perspectives. Principles. You follow principles that determine the team's approach and position, mindset in other words, and that serve as a guideline for the team's collaboration. Processes. You're flexible, and you handle the different work and decision-making processes in an agile manner. Places. You offer places for group and individual work that encourage creativity and also enable focused work. Seeing what design thinking can do. It takes new ideas to handle social challenges such as climate change, population growth, food security, health, mobility, or energy supply. These ideas are the foundation for economic growth. Some ideas develop into worldwide standards, and others cover niches in local and regional markets. Design thinking supports you in your creative work, regardless of whether your question deals with a big or small problem, and it provides you with possible solutions. The approach can be used for all kinds of questions. These might be new products, services, business models, or social and organizational concepts. Developing new products. New technologies such as artificial intelligence or nanotechnology definitely offer opportunities for new products. When it comes to product development in these areas, however, the difficulties don't necessarily lie in the limitations of the new technologies themselves. Difficulties arise when you have to recognize the right application areas of technologies in order to present the greatest benefit for a large number of people. You have to know who might be the product's target users and which of your potential customers' needs you might satisfy. Design thinking can help you find applications that promise success. Example. New ideas don't have to come from the high-tech area. At General Electric Healthcare, people noticed that children were afraid of the high-tech equipment, such as the magnetic resonance image scanners, MRI, used for diagnostic imaging procedures. Some of the children had to be sedated before the examination. Engineers subsequently tried to view the entire examination process through the eyes of a child, which led them to completely redesign the equipment and spatial environment. The walls in a children's hospital were painted to look like a pirate ship, and the exam table like a shipwreck. The exam procedure was designed as a child-friendly role-playing game, in which even the equipment's background sounds were integrated as an adventure game. Creating new services. Service innovations involve changes in how the services are delivered. a new service for customer consultations, the automation and digitization of business processes, or new payment options for customers, for example. The potential of service innovations is often underestimated. Services involve particularly in-depth exchanges with customers, so that a human-based approach like design thinking can offer numerous ideas when it comes to improving and redesigning services. Example: as early as the 1940s, the brothers Dick and Mac McDonald already used an approach similar to design thinking. While observing their customers, they realized that the truck drivers who made up a significant portion of their customer base wanted to have simple foods served quickly, and often ordered the same meals. The brothers limited their meal selection and offered mainly the best-selling hamburgers and French fries. At the same time, they improved the processes in the kitchen and service area. They also redesigned the dining space in their restaurant, with the result that only 30 seconds passed between the order and the food delivery. Designing new business models. With a business model, you describe the way in which a company creates added value for certain customers, how it produces this value, and how it generates permanently growing revenue from it. The introduction of the freemium principle, a combination of free and premium, in which a basic version is offered for free and a premium version is based on charges, was initially a business model innovation and is now widespread even outside of online offers. Designing social and organizational innovations. Social innovations are solutions for social problems and challenges that aren't driven by the goal of making profits. Design thinking starts with the problems and wishes of people and makes them the top priority. With design thinking, you can systematically solve tasks in the social domain. The solution can be a product, a service, or a concept of how to solve a social problem. Example: students at Stanford University applied design thinking to develop a simply designed lamp to be used in developing countries, a lamp that could illuminate a room in a cheap, maintenance-free, and eco-friendly manner. Equipped with a mobile solar system that can function off the grid as well as LED lights and rechargeable batteries, the lamps are designed particularly for the needs of people in developing countries. Examples of organizational innovations include new decision-making processes at a company or a new organizational form. Example: the Swiss web app company Leap has changed its organizational structure so that it eliminates hierarchies. Individual teams of the companies now organize themselves. Each team decides on its strategy, the type of customer acquisition it means to employ, and the applied techniques it feels are necessary for success. Each team also handles the recruitment of new employees on its own. If you think this means anarchy, know that there are clear rules on how to coordinate among the equal teams. Establishing a culture of innovation. In a dynamically changing environment, some companies continue to achieve competitive advantages through the agile, creative, and flexible recognition and utilization of entrepreneurial opportunities. They develop new markets and successfully position themselves as global players. These companies have a culture of innovation that promotes their employees' creativity and successfully turns it into new products, services, processes, or business models. With these principles and approaches, they set the foundation for a corporate culture that promotes innovation. Understanding the basics of design thinking. Before you try some of the methods of design thinking in a workshop, you should become familiar with the basics. The principles and methods of this approach to innovation are probably unfamiliar to many in your organization. New ideas are always met with skepticism, reservations, or resistance. Overcome your reservations and foster your curiosity. Following and communicating the principles. In design thinking, you should observe a few principles that will guide you towards success. Align yourself with people and their needs at an early stage. You start with people by either taking up a problem your target users have pointed out or a wish they may have expressed. Look for lead users, the ones who are ahead of their time, and anticipate future needs of the target market. They are especially useful because their needs precede those of all other customers in the market, and they have a strong incentive to resolve the need. Actively involve these customers in the development of your idea. Develop empathy. Put yourself in the position of your target users and explore these users' emotions, thoughts, intentions, and actions. Illustrate ideas. Visualize your idea and demonstrate it with a prototype for potential users to experiment with. Prototypes can be hardware of various kinds: drawings, stories, role-playing games, model designs, or online applications in the form of internet pages or apps. Learning from failure. Establish a culture that welcomes the value of mistakes at your company so that errors are tolerated as well as learned from. Make sure that mistakes are understood as a fixed component in the design thinking process and perceived as opportunities to learn. Ensure diversity in the team. Rely on diversity in the team so that you offer different perspectives. Diversity is shown in age, gender, education, cultural background, and personality type. Offer team-oriented and creative workspaces. The workspaces for individual and group work, as well as spaces for the group as a whole, must have a flexible and inspiring design. You should choose different locations, rooms, or furniture arrangements for the different design thinking phases. Make the process flexible. The design thinking process promotes a gradual approach. Analyze the problem. Use it to formulate a task. Develop initial possible solutions. Test them, and learn from the feedback. Tip: you don't strictly go through these phases in sequence. Whenever you get information that you have to analyze in detail, jump back to a previous step. Consider and observe these principles during the entire innovation process. Discuss the principles in each workshop, write them down, and display them in communal spaces so that they're easily visible. As a team, check whether you've consistently adhered to the principles after each phase. Getting an overview of the whole process. In the first part of the design thinking process, you analyze the problem. This is the problem space, where you address the what and why. What is the problem? Why is it a problem? Only in the second part, the solution space, are specific solutions developed and tested. Here you ask about the how. How can something be solved? In this process, you combine two phases. In the divergent, dispersing phase, you collect information or develop numerous ideas that result in expanding your perspectives. In the convergent, combining phase, you sharpen the field of view and compile the results or decide on choices. These divergent and convergent phases alternate. According to the British Design Council, the change between expanding and focusing resembles the image of a double diamond process model, as shown in Figure 1.1. The design thinking process is similar to the approach of members of the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford University, commonly known as the D School. They spell out these 6 distinct phases. 1. Understanding the problem. In the first phase, you create an in-depth understanding of your target user's problem or need. You have to clarify which information you're still lacking about the target users, their needs, and their problems. 2. Observing customers. This phase consists of detailed research and on-site observations about the customer's need or problem. It utilizes observations and surveys so that you can put yourself in the customer's shoes. 3. Defining the question. After the observations and surveys, you should focus the insights on a selected group of customers or users and summarize their problems and needs in a defined question. 4. Finding and selecting ideas. Only in this phase do you actually find ideas. You need to employ creative principles and techniques so that you prepare multiple possible solutions. Evaluate the usefulness, economic viability, and feasibility of your ideas and make a selection. 5. Developing prototypes. In this phase, you should visualize the ideas, make them tangible, and then outline, design, model, or simulate them so that they...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?